Hi guys, my name is Keith Neurotis, known as the leader and superior of Club LASM, aka lover of animated shows and movies, and I'm here with Sam, aka Simpy.
What's up? That's Grism with the Tism today, I guess, or whatever the kids say these days.
Gilbert.
Hello there.
And Colby.
Peter, I got my eye on you.
Oh wow. So first things first, how are we doing in this lovely Saturday afternoon?
Well, I'm just glad to be back. It's been a long time since we started filming again.
There are a bunch of things that could be a lot better, if I'm being honest, but we're all just trying to get through with this. But if I had to say there's any upside, I won a little Hatsune Miku statue at an arcade.
Oh really?
Yeah, I can show you a photo of it later. But it's basically Hatsune Miku dressed as Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh cool.
I told myself, Gilbert, you're going to win something. You're going to win a friggin' prize.
Today's Goober feature today is Jay from Murder Drones with a transgender pride behind necklace.
Oh, that's cool. Oh wow, that's so adorable.
And a branded pen for JC Jensen.
Yeah, because you did show me the pen earlier that you did bought.
Yep.
As for me, I'm hoping for April to be just as good as this month, because this month really sucked hard. But
I have no idea what happened.
Well, I can think of a pretty handful of things. None of them are good, and I'm sure that no one wants to hear me talk about. Like, if you see me on my social media, you probably know what I'm going to say.
Oh. I might look at that later.
Alright.
Yeah, but for long story short, I'm really hoping for April to be just as good, because I scored myself 2 tickets to go to some Art to Network show that is in Tampa. Which is literally where I am.
Like a convention?
It's not like a convention. I mean, it is going to be located in the convention center, but it's kind of like some kind of art show gallery-ish.
I'm really hoping there's gonna be Steven Universe stuff.
I mean, there might be there. I'll look for it.
The show's dead, so...
I'm actually trying to come up with a Monsterverse AU with Steven. So, we'll see how that goes.
Ooh.
I think I'll just show you the link by the end of the video, so I can so that way I can give you the idea of what's like. But in the meantime, we should just get to today's topic, since March is literally coming to a close.
Autism Awareness Month.
Yeah,
I personally prefer Autism Acceptance Month, especially from the recent crap we have been through as of late.
Like, if you see the title of the video, you should know. God.
You know, a lot of experts say that being on the spectrum isn't really a disorder. It's actually the next step in the evolutionary chain.
I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon! Dr. Hahn!
Here's this person who can't speak. You know, she might as well be like an inanimate object, like a wig, except there's so much going on in there.
I feel like I'm failing every day, and the harder I try, the worse I do.
Honey, your mistakes don't define you. How you heal does.
I am autism. I work very quickly. I work faster than pediatric AIDS, cancer, and diabetes combined. And the truth is, I am still winning. And you are scared. And you should be.
Okay, enough! My God, Hollywood really does have a problem, do they? I don't know about you guys, but I believe that it is the right time to address the kind of scenario with neurodiversity in the media. Why? Because the Unbreakable Boy become a thing. Anywho, where we left off from last year's podcast session, We discuss about the various topics of autism representation, such as headcanons and canons, lack of neurodiverse actors, even the high hopes of increase in indie animation. After the release of the movie that is The Unbreakable Boy, it seems that they have not learned the last time Hollywood tries to make an autistic rep movie and failed horribly.
Yeah.
When that stuff happens, sarcasm, by the way.
Is with other controversial autism new media stuff, such as with the music scenario that happened and other type of shows and films like The Good Doctor, The Predator.
I mean,
True
don't get me wrong,
Confessions.
I like The Good Doctor for the meme reasons. I am a surgeon meme.
Oh,
I,
good.
The only thing I like about The Good Doctor.
Just the meme. You like the meme, not the show.
Not the entire show. Thank goodness it ended last year.
Sustainable representation aside, I think it would make a solid show idea. But they screwed it over.
I mean, it would be a good idea if it was by, an actual neurodivergent actor or person, or even with the understanding of such.
And don't get me wrong, Sean's actor did a good job portraying him, but I do think it would have been better if they actually had an autistic actor to play him. That way it would be more genuine.
Yeah. And other media such as The Predator, True Confessions, Ezra, and now The Unbreakable Boy, I'm confident to say these 4 words as literally what you've seen the title of the video suggested. Hollywood has a problem.
I'm a fan of the Predator franchise, so I think at some point I'm going to see, the Predator at some point. But at the same time, when I hear stuff like The Unbreakable Boy, I have not seen any of these movies, and for good reason. Like I do say that they don't really have a good portrayal of autistic people. A huge telltale sign that's why I will never watch The Unbreakable Boy is because being promoted by Autism Speak.
Yes, and even the title itself just sounds like inspiration porn. That's an actual term.
I think we're gonna have to block that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, another interesting fact about The Unbreakable Boy that they were going originally released it around 4 years ago in 2021, but they rescheduled it because of the release of music.
Yeah, that'll make you look good, right? Being compared to another terrible autism or allegedly autistic movie. But just like
it's like they knew the hate that they are going to get as well. It's like, why push it back? Oh my gosh, like, this is so stupid. Like, why?
No, what's stupid is that it's also based on a book, and I'm reading this right now. The book's called The Unbreakable Boy, A Father's Fear, A Son's Courage, A Story of Unconditional Love. I feel really inspirational when you gave your son the wrong meds and you sent him to an insane asylum.
So inspirational. All parents should do that too.
Oh,
No.
And
I feel really proud of that.
Also gave the thumbs up from Autism Speak, so.
I would be happy if I got a thumbs down from Autism Speak.
Yeah, that's a badge of honor. If you're hated by Autism Speaks, you're doing a good job. And the icing on the cake, the movie is starred by Zachary Levi, who is pretty much a huge anti-vaxxer conspiracy theorist.
Jeez Louise.
Like, there is, no matter which way you slice this Unbreakable Boy, it sure can break very easily.
Oh God.
I'm pretty sure there was a better term for that, but now I know some people in there are going to say, well, if you haven't seen it, you shouldn't say anything. what is the big difference between not seeing something because you're not sure if it's gonna be good, like what's one word? Like you don't want to see this particular movie because you might not know much about it, or maybe you just don't like this particular actor. Case in point, Zachary Levi. But I'm not going to see this movie because the way it sounds and what it's based on, it sounds like a pure horror story. I give huge props to Autistic Noah. I'm sure you've met him. He's a YouTuber who makes videos discussing about autism representation in media.
Hold on, can you send me his channel? I don't think I've heard of him.
Oh,
don't worry.
definitely.
I'll send you. I'll send him about Noah the Otter. This video exists because of Noah the Otter.
Yes.
So thank you, Noah. You inspired us to make this video.
And his title is "I saw Zachary Levi's awful autism movie, so you don't have to." And yeah, pretty much summarize the whole thing in 15 minutes. I'll save you like an hour and a half, or however long this movie is. How long is this movie? Look at that, 109 minutes, so not that far off.
Similar to music, I didn't see the Unbreakable Boy, nor that I don't even want to, because after watching his review on the movie, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch it because I knew it was bad.
Which is also pretty important when it comes to these kind of movies. It's like, that depends on how you're presenting it and who is presenting it. Well, how it's presenting it, it's another like typical Hollywood autism movies, which for the most part is very terrible. And who is presenting it? Zachary Levi. Who's just like, when was the last successful thing you remember that Zachary Levi was in?
I don't even know who the heck that is.
And Zachary Levi, do you remember Tangled?
Yeah, he did voice Eugene. That's the only good thing he ever did.
Yeah.
I don't know who the voice actor is. I just know the movie.
Well, now you do. Now you know he's Flynn Rider.
Eugene Fitzherbert is his real name.
Or whichever you call him. I call him Flynn Rider. I'm just calling him Flynn. I don't care. But yeah, in recent years, Zachary Levi has been going down the rabbit hole with conspiracy theories and supporting people like R.K. Jr. who want to give people legals.
Damn.
Like, no joke. Like, I couldn't make this up if I wanted to.
So, let's now talk about what Hollywood tends to get wrong when portraying autistic characters.
Well, from what I can remember, they make autistic people kind of infantile. Basically needs to be baby, which is beyond awful.
And truthfully, there are so many times I would have just preferred them being, super genius than to be infantized.
Yes, because people with autism are adults, and adults can be intelligent, and people with autism can have average to above average intelligence.
I mean, there are intelligent, yes, but I just wish there are times that there are like geniuses, but not too smart, because that's a similar trope that I've seen with autistic characters, like Entrapper from Shira. Like, she's like a super genius.
Now, I understand some of the, some autistic people can be geniuses, like Entrapta and Donnie from Rise of TMNT. They are great characters, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says about Entrapta. I love her.
Didn't they put Entrapta on a leash?
The treatment of Entrapta, unfortunately, is not that far off from reality, based on what I'm hearing. Like I said, she's a good character, but how the other characters treat her is kind of the awful side of something you see in real life.
She is a grown adult woman being put on a leash like a dog or an inattentive and hyperactive child.
But then we also got characters like Norma from Deadhead, who is, maybe not particularly a genius, but she does love movies and horror.
You have to watch the show, by the way. It's good. Still hate the fact they canceled it on a cliffhanger. Still upset with Netflix.
Well, at least we got the books. Hold on, I'm gonna finish that one.
So let's use my OC Hester as an example. They could be classified as a nerd, but being a super genius isn't their full character. They have their own flaws, quote unquote, that come with the condition. Like, they have a hard time with social cues. They don't understand figurative language. I wish this was a piece of media so I could cite examples, but it's still like a heavy draft, so I don't have much to say. But that's being a nerd isn't all they have to their character. They have their own relationships.
When you say that they're not all of them are geniuses, I think it also can work because we do have people who are on the spectrum. Yeah, as of late, like they didn't realize they were on the spectrum until much later.
Yeah, like in Hester's case, they are very proficient when it comes to computers and technology and hacking, but they may not be so well in other areas, like, let's say, self-care, socializing, and maybe comprehension for like English and reading.
But when it also comes to some autistic character, or even headcanon, I think one big example I can think of is Jorge Gutierrez. In animated, you might know him as creator of El Tigre.
Oh, I remember that
Yes.
show.
A few years ago, he came out as being on the spectrum, and you think that as he was making El Tigre, it's possible that, many could be on the spectrum as he's making it. And not only that, you also have Bella Ramsey. You might know her as Ellie in The Last of Us, and Hilda from the animated show Hilda. And of course, the great Anthony Hopkins, whom you may know as Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, like we've been on notice. Like, what's a big shocker? Like the many times I was watching, the 2000s Grinch, I didn't know who the narrator was, and I was shocked to just now discover the narrator was actually Anthony Hopkins himself. Just to let you know. Like
Great
I was.
narration.
Yes.
Now let's move on to the topic on how studios get autism wrong. Let's move on to how they can improve portrayals of autism and even questions they should consider when creating an autistic character. So I created this list of questions to help writers better develop and flesh out their characters who are on the spectrum.
Well, you got like 15 essential questions there.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions.
Oh dear. That's a long list. It's a big list, but
I was shocked about that list. It's like we gone forever.
like, is there any way that this person socialize with other people, or in their job, or in their class? What does it impact anything in their life?
It's like, how does it impact the way they can take care of themselves or do things on their own? Something that a lot of autistic people have. A lot of people on the spectrum tend to have a special interest in something, whether it be video games, like math, even dinosaurs and trains, if you want to be stereotypical. But there are people on the spectrum who have that as a special interest.
Well, I guess one example I could say that I love Star Wars as a kid, and I still do. It's just hard to be a fan lately. And my family was surprised that I would buy some of these Star Wars books and get to know some other characters, even characters in the background. Like in Attack of the Clones, there's this guy who's trying to sell Obi-Wan drugs and want to buy some death sticks.
Wow.
Now, I've mentioned this a lot, and multiple episodes, but my special interest is Murder Drones. I just love that show. The story, the visuals and animations, the characters, I just love like everything about it. And the fandom has like a lot of cool people that I made friends in even.
And here we are.
Support needs refers to how much substantial support they need in their daily life. Like, what do they need help with and how much help do they need? For example, a low support need autistic person might not need much assistance with anything, if at all, while a high support needs person might need substantial support, daily activities, and stuff.
I can't speak for everyone, but in my experience, I have sensitive hearing. So when there's like a lot, like there's music that is just, I just feel is way too high, because everyone else, it can be pretty it's just like just hurts. Just I wouldn't, not hurt is not the right word, but it just feels right, you know.
Or an alternative way to ask this is, how do they communicate? Because some people with autism are unable to speak and they rely on other ways to speak, such as writing or sign language or using communication devices. While other people can speak just fine. While other people, sometimes they can speak, but they might be uncomfortable speaking in certain social scenarios and environments, so they might use alternative ways to communicate other than just verbally speaking.
Like, I can communicate. It's just the problem with, it's just like my scenario. My situation is that it's so difficult to try to look at them in the eye. That's the scariest part of trying to. But then there's a method I recently heard that if you look into their eyebrows to make it seem like, oh, they're looking at you, that might be okay.
So stimming is self-stimulatory behavior. This can be like motor things like flapping their hands or like flipping a pen, or it can be vocal, like making noises, humming, or repeating phrases. It all depends on the person.
Me, I usually rock back and forth in my bed, which I'm doing right now. I don't know why I'm doing it. And there are times I keep pacing back and forth.
Now that's kind of going back to number 4, but number 7 is more making you think into specifics. What kind of stimuli tends to set off their sensory issues if they have them? Is it noises? Like, what kind of noises would bother them? What kind of textures or sounds or smells bother them? Now, not to be confused with tantrums, meltdowns are completely different. They are usually triggered by sudden changes in schedule or stuff out of the ordinary for them. While tantrums are usually seen in younger children, like when they don't get their way or something. Like, for example, they don't get a toy from the store. But autistic people is just different. It's like what I said before. Autistic people tend to have a very structured sense of routine, and even the slightest change in what their structured routine looks like can bother them significantly and affect how their day goes. So when you should consider, how would your character feel if, let's say, they go to Starbucks every week, but on that day they're supposed to go, let's say it's temporarily closed for maintenance and they can't go. How would they feel about that?
Yeah, it's kind of hard for them to try to wait that long for that store to just to reopen, you know?
Autistic people tend to struggle with understanding and sensing other people's emotions in social scenarios. Some even have a hard time even recognizing their own emotions, such as myself. So they might not be able to identify how they feel right away.
I know there's some criticism within chapter, but I think one example is like when she was confused into thinking like she wasn't sure if her friends were mad at her for something, or even Donnie in Rise of the Turtles, when he sounds like he is like, oh sure, just let me hack into every camera in New York. I'm sorry if I sound sarcastic, it's not. I'm really doing it.
I want to see more of like an autistic person that they unintentionally make someone upset, and then they don't realize that the other people are upset at them. I think that would make a really cool scene in like a show or novel or game or whatever piece of media you're working on.
I think another good example of that is Tech from Star Wars: The Bad Batch. He also has trouble talking to an emotion that feels like it's needed. But in one episode, like he said, he has difficulty when it comes to expressing certain emotions, but it does not mean that he doesn't care about people experiencing that.
Social situations range from anything that involves interacting with people, such as going to work, going to school, going to parties and such. Like, how do they handle it? Like, does it overwhelm them, or do they feel okay being in social situations like that? I know, for example, with me, like, I'm not a fan of huge parties. I find it kind of stressful because sometimes I don't know what to do because I'm not familiar with some of the people there, so I just awkwardly stand there or sit there and do my own thing. So masking is when a neurodivergent person kind of hides their autistic traits to seem more normal in society. Some people, it comes naturally to them by them adapting and copying neurotypical people's mannerisms. For others, it's something they have to learn. With me, for example, I usually don't mask. I just show my true self because it's easier for me and I tend to do things how they naturally come out.
Surprisingly, only a couple of people outside of my family found out that I was autistic, mainly because, they knew people who were on the spectrum. Of course, because of how I sound, some people might think I might be joking, or they think I have some sort of accent.
Figurative language, meaning what someone says that's not literally what they mean, such as, like, when pigs fly, that means something will never happen, because pigs don't fly, but someone might think, oh, so if a pig starts flying, then this will happen. Sarcasm, when someone says something that they don't really mean, someone might think they're not being sarcastic and actually mean it. Implied meanings, stuff that is not said outright, but is what it means, implied. For example, in the literature, I recently had to read The Great Gatsby in my English class, which has a lot of implied meanings that I couldn't really understand unless it was pointed out to me. So, that is an example from my own personal life.
I feel like, to me, like, we're all together as autistic people. We know what sarcasm is because we literally was just being sarcastic not long ago about the Unbreakable Boy.
I mean, that's for us, but other people on the spectrum might not understand sarcasm or tones of voice. Like, what is their love language? How do they show their friends, family, significant others, or pets out that they love them? And how do they build their relationships?
What
and
was
how
that?
do they make connections with others? How do they make friends and form bonds?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to leave. I'm getting a call. I'm so sorry.
Alright, see ya.
Alright, see ya.
Okay, see you, man. I'm gonna miss you, dude.
Now this is more focused on their relationship with others. Like, how does it affect the way they interact with people out in the world? How do others view them and such? Now, if you consider all these questions, or at least some of them, when creating your autistic character, it can help you better understand and develop your character and aim for better representation.
Like for example, there are some good autistic reps. Like I already showed you last year with Queenie, and like again, you have to watch Heartbreak High. But today, I wanted to tell you about Carl the Collector, because if you haven't watched Carl the Collector, my God, you have to watch Carl the Collector. For real, it's a very good show, because not only does it have one autistic character who is the main protagonist, but it has two autistic characters in one show.
I love when they have multiple autistic characters and they're portrayed vastly different from each other, because then that would better show that autism is a spectrum and not every single person with autism is the same.
Oh my God, but still, you have to watch that show, because it is really good.
Where do I watch it? Is it like on Netflix?
No, it's more like a PBS Kids type of show. But it really is a good show. I might try to send you something, so that way you might have the chance to watch the episodes, because it is amazing.
So is there anything else we would like to say before we wrap things up? I don't know how much time we have.
Well, all you have left is like, what can it be done when it comes to the indie perspective, when it comes to autism acceptance. Indie animation is starting to become very, very successful now.
Like, it is thriving, like, making a lot of money. Several indie animation pilots show up on my recommended feed, and I always just save them to my watch later. So one day when I have enough indie animation pilots in my watch later, I can just binge a bunch of pilots, because I just really like indie animation, and I think it's a lot of potential.
Especially when there's more diversity on indie animation than there is just for Hollywood at this point.
We want to see more representation of people of color, LGBTQ members, and, on the topic, neurodivergent characters.
With that said, thank you guys for being in today's session.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Really hope I can just get everything together. Like, I don't know why I'm so slow with editing. Please forgive me about that.
Alright. It's been fun.
Yeah. With that said, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, click on the notification bell so that we won't miss out on any more of the indie animation and LASM podcast videos in general. With that said, I bid you peace. Got y'all later.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Alright.